start this piece, I gessoed my entire journal page. And then I grabbed a Crafter's Workshop template, and using a Versamark marker, I went through all the holes and colored them in with my Versamark marker. And that's what I'm doing here, very randomly. It looks much faster, obviously sped up, but I went pretty slow and made sure I got all the holes that I needed to get. And then here I'm going to take some embossing powder by Lindy Stamp Gang, and I'm just going to emboss the piece that I just Versamarked and just heat set that, and look at the cool effect that it created. And I'm just doing the same thing on the other side and just creating a little bit of a different random pattern. I didn't want it to be all exactly the same on the other side. So that's what I'm doing here, using my Versamark marker again, and then using a little bit more of that embossing powder. And there, that's the effect. Then I'm grabbing some Lindy Stamp Gang T-Bird Turquoise, and I am spraying using the same stencil that I used for the embossing. And I'm just starting my background for this page. I'm now taking one of my favorite stencils, and with some Danny Zuko's Denim by Lindy Stamp Gang, I'm just randomly spraying again. I'm actually creating a border. I'm not randomly spraying. I'm creating a border on at the top, on the side, actually on all four sides. And that's what I'm doing here. And just drawing it in between to ensure that I get the actual effect of the screen so that it doesn't bleed too much. So I'm drying it right away, especially because I gessoed the surface. And then I'm grabbing another one of my favorite templates, and I'm grabbing one of the reds, Flat Fabio by Lindy Stamp Gang, and I'm giving it a quick spray. Now you'll notice that I got a little bit of the edging there, so it looks kind of weird. It's not a big deal because I'm creating a background, so I actually don't mind that it went over. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm now taking Summer Love and Sun Flat Fabio by Lindy Stamp Gang and just kind of spraying all over my page. And with a heat gun, I'm allowing the paint to just kind of drip down and create that drippage effect, if you will. And then what I did is I just took my cloth and wiped off all the ink that was on top of the embossing powder that had dried. And then I just went over again with the yellow just to give it a little bit more vibrancy. And again, created that drippage effect using the heat gun. I'm going to take a peach color now by Lindy Stamp Gang and just adding a little bit more depth and allowing the ink to run. I had let the ink be a little bit wet. I didn't want it to dry too much, which is why you see it running a little bit, which is the effect that I wanted. And then I'm going again over it with the stencil that I had used previously because I really wanted that effect, and I had kind of covered it when I was spraying. This is one of the best screens that the Crafter Workshop has, and it kind of can create a three-dimensional effect, if you will. And so this is what I'm doing here. Here actually I'm just spraying one heart with one of the oranges, another Flat Fabio, and I'm just drawing it up. And I'll be finishing it off towards the end of the video, so I know it looks kind of plain and it doesn't even look like a heart here, but don't worry, I will be fixing it up towards the end. And now I'm just taking some red acrylic ink and I am inking up one of the hearts, one of the small hearts in this stencil. And I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to dry it up, ensuring that it's really nice and dry before I apply the second coat of the screen, which is those cool stripes, using some studio paint. And that's what I'm doing here, just applying it with a foam brush, drying it up really good. And then I'm going to go to step number 3 using some Faber-Castell marker, the big brush pens, which I absolutely love, and you guys all know that. So that's what I'm using here. It's a really awesome technique. I love these stencils. It's like the 3-step stencils, I guess you could call it. Next I'm going to grab some acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go over the edges of my page just to create a little bit more grounding and depth on this page. So that's all I'm doing here. Next I'm grabbing some more of my studio paint, and just creating random half hearts along my page. I don't want them to be perfect. I just want to create a little bit of dimension. So that's all I'm doing here. And then grabbing my Sharpie white poster paint and going over the letters love, just to allow them to pop out of my page a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. And again, I'm going to take, after I'm done that, I'm going to take my black marker again, and I'm going to go around the heart so that it pops out of the page. I am now using one of the Delusions background stamps to add a little bit more dimension to my page, and I'm using Stays On ink as it does not bleed and it just runs, and I don't mind that the whole image doesn't get transferred. That's the effect I'm going for, so I'm just using the dotted background, and then I'm grabbing the letter background and stamping it across all over my page in just random spots. No rhyme or reason, just stamp and being creative. Then I'm taking my gelatos, black gelato, and I'm going around my page again, and using my finger, I'm just blending the edges of my page to give it a little bit more dimension. As promised, here I am creating the shape of the heart and allowing it now to pop out of the page, whereas before, without the gelato, you could not really see that it was a heart. That's why I love the gelatos. They create such an awesome effect. And then last but not least, I'm just grabbing a butterfly stamp. It wasn't quite the look I was going for, but that's how it turned out. And then I just randomly stamped all over. That's the end of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I will post the link below to my blog where you will find all the links and all the product information used in this video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.